David McGinty. I'm the Director of Strategic Marketing for the core division of Imagine Learning. And we're the largest provider of K-12 digital solutions in the education sector of the US. Before we got Highspot, we were actually using a system that was largely driven by G Drive usage and also a large amount of spreadsheets. Our analytical data was nowhere near what we wanted as content creators, and the information that we would get from the materials that we were producing was limited to what either the sales team would tell us in terms of what their customers are interacting with, or what we would get from a marketing system like Pardot. So for us, it did two main things. One was provide us with a huge amount of data in terms of the usage of our materials and what was working, what wasn't working. And on the other side, just a level of organizational structure to our content that we had never seen before. We essentially went from a situation where reps would be looking for materials in 5 different places and finding the wrong version of something, to a situation where there's always the most up-to-date version, latest and greatest, we would say, in Highspot, easy to find. I think in terms of the value to marketing, it's very difficult to understate the change that adopting a system like Highspot can give you. Essentially, we have a situation where our materials are not only well organized in a way that we can market to the sales reps through field enablement and make materials that they want to use and want to engage with, but we can also get the kind of data that allows us to iterate really well. So we're able to make things that are really connecting, see that they're connecting, and with the help of a fantastic creative content team, we can make changes based on that information. And without that, we're in a situation where you're always just guessing what's working. And it can be really scary to move from a situation where you're putting something out into the world and you don't know if it's connected until maybe the sale's made, maybe it's not. It can be quite scary to say, the analytics show that no one watched this video beyond the first 10 seconds, or no one's looked at these pages of this white paper that you spent ages creating. But if you embrace that and you move forward, kind of accepting that data is going to improve your content creation, the rewards are incalculable. Essentially, I think for us, Highspot was a system that required us to make changes in the way that we present our materials to the sales team and through our sales enablement team. But what we would really look for is what differences can we make to the lives of the sales reps, and identifying what quick wins are kind of key to that, and making sure that those are the first things we achieve, like making sure that we can make life easier for them and we can put resources where they want to find them, and we're not adding an extra place for content to live or adding another tool to their day. By using CRM integration and making it part of where they go to find materials anyway and where they do their pitching from, we can kind of add a new power to their what they're already doing. We're not changing your processes, we're improving the contact that you have with your customers and making the time that you spend with your customers more valuable. A big Highspot win for us would be during the pandemic, we were in a situation where our sales team were telling us that teachers are tired, the contacts that we have are struggling with their day-to-day. We need to give them materials that are just practical tips for today. How are we going to get through? We're going to talk about Zoom classes and teacher shortages and this sort of thing. And that totally rang true to us, and it felt like something that we were experiencing ourselves in our day-to-day lives with our Zoom classrooms at home. But within Highspot, we were able to see that actually a small amount of our reps were pitching out our really big thought leadership pieces, these kind of white papers that were talking about what we're going to do to change the education system and the instructional shifts that would be required to move into a new type of education. And we found that those pieces of content were being viewed and absorbed by the people who they were pitched to at a much higher rate than any of the other materials we have. So we were able to feed that back to the sales team and say, look, what we feel and see in the field or what we're hearing from the field, it might be wrong because the data is showing us that this other type of content is really connecting with the customers who see it. So we were able to use a sales enablement team to re-socialize that idea. And when we started having the sales reps pitch out those white papers and the thought leadership changes, we've had a huge level of engagement, and it really drove leads for us, and it also kind of just improved the level of engagement with our materials. I think what's kind of something that we took away as another learning from that is you could easily have said at the time, everyone wants to think about what the future of education is. And at Imagine Learning, that's something that we are connected to. We want to be part of the change. We want to be part of the next solution in education. And by having that information, understanding that teachers were there already, we helped them get across that kind of shift.